Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautifully chaotic day in the soap world, and we have so much to unpack. Grab your coffee, or maybe something stronger, because the drama we are about to discuss is absolutely off the charts. Let's just dive right into the madness. And honestly, I am still shaking from what just went down on our screens. I mean, I've been covering this show for what feels like 100 years, and you think you've seen it all, right? You think you know exactly how these characters are going to react because they literally do the same things over and over again. But then the writers just throw a massive curveball that completely shatters the entire dynamic of the core families. So let's talk about Hope Logan. Let's talk about Ridge Forester. And let's talk about the slap that is going to echo through the halls of Forester Creations and Logan for the next decade. Because wow, just wow, I need a minute to even process this. Okay, maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but you guys get what I mean. This was huge. So, we all know Hope has been public enemy #1 at Forester Creations lately. She defected to Logan. She launched Hope by Logan in that surprise ASAP fashion show that completely hijacked Eric's haute couture event. The Foresters are furious. Steffy is practically foaming at the mouth for revenge. And Brooke was shattered. We literally just saw Brooke smashing monitors and telling Hope she couldn't even look at her the same way anymore. It was bad. It was really, really bad. But then, Hope goes back to the Forester mansion to pack up her final things. Just getting the last of her belongings so she can fully wash her hands of that place. And who is waiting for her in the shadows? Ridge Forester, standing there like he's the lord of the manor, waiting to dispense his patriarchal wisdom. Let's talk about that mansion for a second. That house has been the battleground for so many Forester and Logan wars. Hope walking through those halls, packing up her memories. Think about everything she has endured in that house. Growing up with Ridge constantly coming and going, the endless cycle of Brooke and Ridge's breakups. Hope packing her bags wasn't just about moving her clothes. It was about packing up her entire identity as a Forester-adjacent pawn. I could almost feel the weight of the years she spent trying to be the perfect daughter, trying to earn Ridge's respect. And for what? So he could just toss her aside the second Steffy threw a tantrum. The symbolism of her physically removing herself from that space was so powerful. And then, out of the shadows steps Ridge. He just can't let her leave on her own terms. He has to have the last word. He always has to have the last word. It's like a sickness with him. And you just knew the second he appeared on screen that this was not going to be a friendly goodbye chat. Ridge has been fuming. He's been complaining to RJ. He's been complaining to Steffy. He's been acting like Hope committed the ultimate sin against humanity by leaving a company where she had zero creative control. So Ridge tries to talk her down. He tries to play the disappointed but forgiving father figure. He's telling her to come back. He's telling her to drop this Logan nonsense and return to the fold. Like she's just some lost little girl who made a mistake and needs the big strong Forester men to fix it for her. Ridge starts off with this condescending, low voice. "What are you doing, Hope? You're making a mistake." Like he is the absolute authority on what is right and wrong. And Hope, she doesn't even stop folding her clothes. She just keeps packing. That alone must have driven him crazy because Ridge demands attention. When he speaks, you are supposed to listen. But Hope is not having it, and honestly, good for her. Hope stands her ground and looks him dead in the eye and says no. She tells him that she has finally found her real family, her true family. And it's not the Foresters, it's the Spencers and the Logans. She tells him that Katie and Bill actually believe in her, that they actually give her the autonomy she deserves. And Ridge, he scoffs. He actually scoffs and probably thinks the Spencers are just using her to get back at him. Everything always has to be about Ridge. He couldn't even fathom that Katie hired Hope because Hope is talented. No, in Ridge's mind, it's just a plot against him. It's that narcissism that Hope finally called out. So Hope keeps pushing. She's packing her things, she's brushing him off, and then she drops the absolute nuclear bomb. The truth bomb that we have all been screaming at our televisions for years. She calls Ridge a hypocrite. She flat out says it. And she tells him that he has always prioritized Steffy over her. And where is the lie? Seriously, where is the lie? Let's be real here for a second. Ridge has always put Steffy on a pedestal. When Steffy paused the Hope for the future line, Ridge backed Steffy. When Steffy demanded things her way, Ridge backed Steffy. When Zende was promoted without even consulting Hope, Ridge's doing. Hope has been treated like a second-class citizen in that company for years, and she finally just let it all out. She screamed at him that he never protected her the way he protects Steffy. That he never valued her vision, her talent, or her feelings. That to him, she was always just Brooke's daughter, never a real Forester, never an equal to his precious Steffy. The double standard is so glaringly obvious that fans on social media have been making compilation videos of Ridge's hypocrisy for years. Hope finally vocalizing what the audience has been screaming was so cathartic. And you guys, the tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a chainsaw. Hope was crying, but she was angry. It was that furious, hot kind of crying where you are just so done with someone's garbage that you can't even hold it back anymore. And Ridge's face was turning purple. And then it happened, the moment that is going to break the internet. Ridge, in a fit of absolute, uncontrollable, extreme rage, slaps her. He slaps Hope. Hard. So hard that she physically falls to the floor. I literally gasped. I paused the TV, walked around my living room, and had to rewind it because I could not believe my eyes. Ridge Forester, the so-called hero, the leading man, just physically assaulted his stepdaughter because his fragile male ego couldn't handle being called out on his blatant favoritism. What were they thinking? I mean, from a drama standpoint, it's brilliant television, but from a character standpoint, Ridge is dead to me. He is absolutely dead to me. Who actually believes this is going to end well for him? Nobody. You do not put your hands on a woman, and you especially do not put your hands on Brooke Logan's child. The physical act of the slap was so shocking because of the sheer force of it. This wasn't a soap opera dramatic open-handed tap. This looked violent. The sound department really added a crack to it, and Hope went down hard. The visual of Hope crumpled on the floor of the Forester mansion, while Ridge stood over her, his chest heaving, his hand still stinging. It was cinematic. It felt like a horror movie for a split second. You could see the immediate rage blinding him. The damage was done. The line was crossed. Which brings us to the timing, because this is a soap opera, and the timing is always perfectly, devastatingly dramatic. Right as the slap echoes through the room. Right as Hope hits the floor, clutching her face in shock, the doors open, and in walks Brooke. Brooke Logan Forester, the woman who just yesterday was telling Hope she was heartbroken and couldn't look at her the same way. The woman who smashed a monitor because she was so mad at Katie and Hope for betraying the Foresters. But let me tell you something about Brooke Logan. She might get mad at her kids. She might yell at them, but the second an outsider, and yes, in that moment, Ridge became an outsider, lays a finger on her child. The mama bear comes out, and it was terrifying and beautiful to watch. Brooke didn't even hesitate. She didn't ask for context. She didn't ask Ridge to explain himself. She saw her daughter on the floor. She saw Ridge's hand, and she just snapped. The shift in Catherine Kelly Lang's acting in that split second was award-worthy. You could see the love for Ridge just instantly evaporate from her eyes, replaced by pure, unadulterated hatred. She ran to Hope, helped her up, and then turned to Ridge with a voice so cold it could freeze hell over. Brooke has forgiven Ridge for sleeping with her sister, for marrying Taylor, for abandoning her 1,000,000 times, but she will not forgive him for this. She knelt down, cradling Hope's face, checking her for bruises, and when she looked back up at Ridge, her eyes were dead. She kicked him out. She literally pointed to the door and told him to get out of her house. Out of her life. She told him that they are done, over, finished. The marriage is over. And I know, we have seen Brooke and Ridge break up and divorce about 1,000,000 times. We call them bridge, and we joke about how they always find their way back to each other, but this feels different. You can cheat, you can lie, you can keep secrets. But slapping her daughter because of an argument about Steffy, that is the ultimate betrayal for Brooke. That crosses a line that you can never, ever uncross. Ridge tried to stutter out an excuse. He tried to say she provoked him, that he lost his temper, that he didn't mean it, but Brooke wasn't hearing it. She screamed at him to leave, and the look of absolute defeat on Ridge's face as he walked out that door. Wow, he knew he messed up. He knew he just threw away his entire life with Brooke because he couldn't control his temper over his precious Steffy being criticized. Get out. 2 words. But they carried the weight of 30 years of exhaustion. Ridge tried to reach for her, but Brooke just screamed it louder. Get out of my house. But guys, that is not even the craziest part of the scene. That is not the part that has me writing this massive rant at 2 a.m. No, the craziest part is what happened after Ridge left. Brooke is holding Hope. She's crying. She's apologizing for being so harsh to her earlier. She's promising that she will always protect her. Brooke is completely wrecked, fully back on Team Hope, fully alienated from the Foresters now. And Hope is hugging her back. Hope is crying into her mother's shoulder. But then the camera pans around. It catches Hope's face over Brooke's shoulder, and Hope smiles. She smiles. A cold, calculating, victorious little smile shines through her tears. And my jaw hit the floor. Did Hope plan this? Did she push Ridge's buttons on purpose, knowing exactly how he would react? Did she know Brooke was walking in? Or did she just realize in that moment that getting slapped was the absolute best thing that could have ever happened to her? Because think about it. Hope just got exactly what she wanted. Hope knew that as long as Brooke was married to Ridge, Brooke would always be tied to Forester Creations. Brooke would always be torn between her daughter and her husband. Brooke was furious at Hope for leaving, but now Brooke is completely alienated from Ridge. Brooke is disgusted by the Foresters. Hope just successfully, permanently separated her mother from Ridge Forester. And that smile, it was chilling. It was so dark. We are watching the villain origin story of Hope Logan, and I am here for it. I am so here for it. For years, Hope has been the sweet, innocent, morally superior victim. She's been the one who gets walked all over by Steffy, by Thomas, by Ridge, but not anymore. She is tapping into that dark, manipulative Logan energy. She is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She took a hit to the face to win the war. By getting Ridge to snap, she didn't just win an argument. She completely neutralized her biggest threat. With Ridge out of the picture, Brooke will never go back to Forester Creations. Brooke will likely take her shares, her influence, and her loyalty straight to Logan. Hope just secured the ultimate weapon in the fashion war, her mother's undivided loyalty. It's twisted, it's toxic, and it is the best writing this show has delivered in years. And honestly, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it was just a smile of relief that her mom loves her again. Okay, no, that sounded naive even as I typed it. That was a manipulative smile. The writers are definitely taking Hope down a darker path. She is becoming ruthless. She is becoming the kind of person who will tear down a marriage just to get her mother on her side in a corporate fashion war. What does this mean for the future? Oh my God, the fallout is going to be apocalyptic. When Steffy finds out that Brooke kicked Ridge out, Steffy is going to go nuclear. She is going to blame Hope for destroying her father's marriage. She is going to launch a full-scale war against Logan and Eric. How is Eric going to react to his son hitting a woman? Will he defend Ridge? Will he be disgusted? And what about Liam? Liam has been playing bodyguard for Hope, trying to keep her calm. When Liam finds out Ridge put his hands on his wife, Liam might actually do something interesting for once and go punch Ridge in the face. Bill Spencer is going to have a field day with this. Bill is going to use this to destroy Ridge's reputation in the press. Forester patriarch assaults stepdaughter. The headlines practically write themselves. I just can't get over the pacing of this week. We went from the high-stakes glamour of the fashion show, the crushing betrayal, the corporate espionage, straight into this deeply personal, violent, psychological family warfare. It is messy. It is so clunky in places, but it is so addictive. I meant to just write a quick recap today, but I got completely carried away because this is the best material the cast has had in months. The raw emotion, the history bubbling to the surface. It's exactly why we watch this ridiculous, beautiful show. So yeah, Ridge is out in the cold. Brooke is back in Hope's corner. And Hope Logan is secretly pulling the strings like a master puppeteer. I am honestly exhausted just thinking about what happens next. But you better believe I will be glued to my screen tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Was Ridge justified in his anger? Is Hope turning evil? Is Bridge really over this time? Let's argue about it.